Smacking off the podcast.
Welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer. Doug, we got a lot to talk about tonight. The dynasty is over. Long live the dynasty.
What's going on, man? Hey, your timing was perfect. You literally came and sat down right as it was time for you to start talking.
You're not supposed to be looking at my camera until I'm officially on air.
Man, there's something weird. Your mic sounds like shit for the first.
Mine?
Yeah, no, for the first like 10 seconds for the last few episodes.
I'm using the same mic.
Then it's fine.
I'm using the same mic.
I know, it goes away though. It's so weird. It's like it irons out.
It has nothing to do with me.
I got you.
Technology.
Oh, we got a friend on the show with us tonight. Chad Brown. What's going on, Chad?
Chad Brown, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing?
I don't see any of the icons up here. All I see is when the greatest head coaches of all time, the greatest head coach of all time in college football. I see his replacement, and then I see a guy that over here on the right that looks like he picks his nose and eats it. He does.
And as a fucking cheater.
Jim, aka Booger Harbaugh.
Cheater, booger cheater, right?
Yeah. Is it cheater or booger now?
I think
there's so much going on with this guy always. He's sleeping over at the recruits' houses. He's picking his nose and eating it. He's cheating in the football. Then he wins the football, and now he's leaving Michigan. He is still leaving Michigan, right? Is the NFL are they accepting him with open arms? He has a natty. They like that.
I thought Kirby Smart was going to the NFL, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now.
No, man, Kirby. I don't know where people got the idea that Kirby coaching at the level that he's at. I mean, that used to be the natural progression of things, that a college coach did good in college and he went on to the NFL. And these days, that's not necessarily the case. And we also see college coaches now not wanting to maybe accept what could be a better position. I know the Alabama job just recently got filled. That's one example, but there's a lot of good programs around the country that will be looking for a coach this year. And there's some coaches that they just don't want to leave where they're at. They got it going. They got it balling. They got things going the way that they want it to. Dan Lanning at Oregon, perfect example.
I mean, I don't think that Dan Lanning was offered the job. I really don't.
Well, and again,
I think that you get a lot of bad information when big jobs.
Most important question is who is Dan Lanning's agent?
Oh, it's the same as everybody else's agents.
Jimmy Sexton. Yeah, so I mean, really, and the biggest winner in all of this, and doesn't have to coach a single game, and that's Jimmy Sexton.
And I definitely don't believe that Dabo was offered the job like some of the coaches.
No, I really don't think that that was a serious discussion at any point, because again, Dabo's star has faded a bit because he's not keeping up with the time.
Now here's why I believe that. I mean, it's obviously it's possible for a team to offer somebody the job and then turn it down, but it never gets to that with Jimmy Sexton involved.
When Tennessee offered Greg Schiano that job, and Greg Schiano turned them down. No,
well, what I'm saying is, you find out whether you can gauge interest, and you find out if somebody is willing to listen and likely to sign an acceptable contract from Jimmy Sexton. And anybody that's not on that list don't really get any more time. That's just the way that goes with any major program. They're not going to put time into somebody if they don't feel like they can make the hire. Now, Alabama's been left at the altar a couple times.
Is this the beginning of every single major head coaching search starts with a call to Jimmy Sexton?
I think he's the one that's stirring up. I think he's the one that's stirring up all these rumors, and that way he can get the guy he wants in there. In other words,
no, man, come on. These boys are stirring them rumors up themselves, making them up out of thin air, pulling shit straight out of their ass. And we've actually reported on some of them on the show. Last week, we had mentioned the fact that Miss Terry possibly had dementia. We found out that was part of the internet rumor cycle, and we apologize to the Saban
Actually,
family.
I've been hearing that shit since October.
What's
somebody
that?
Told me, somebody told me Miss Terry had onset early dementia in October.
Well, and again, with all the other rumors that have floated around and nobody has backed that up, we're going to go ahead and quietly step away from that. Until
if it's
somebody
true,
confirms it.
If it's true, they're concealing it, and they've got a right to. And
absolutely,
I doubt very seriously it's true.
I hope and pray that it's not. How about that?
Yes,
I laugh my fucking ass off. Sorry,
I'm not just going to start talking shit on the show about Alabama's head coach. That's what we save. We save that kind of thing for Auburn's head coach.
Go ahead, Chad.
Okay, I was laughing my fucking ass off when I saw the rumors about Tommy Rees taking over for Nick Saban.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that things would have had to get really bad to give a guy that hasn't been a head coach before. I mean,
things would have been very bad.
I know that's why I was laughing so much.
Yeah.
So
Tuscaloosa, you thought that tornado tore Tuscaloosa apart. Oh man. What imagine what would have happened if they hired Tommy Rees. Come on.
What's the word on Tommy Rees? Anybody?
Tommy Rees is he's headed to UGA.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
To where?
Georgia?
Yes. Kirby Smart. He's now Kirby Smart's bitch. That's a true statement. That's the thing. True story. No, I'm not making that up.
No,
That's
I'm
true.
not saying you
Look
are.
It's
just hard. I'm just really shocked that Kirby would want to bring Tommy Rees over.
Why? He's a good coordinator. He actually did a great job with very little this year, and probably one of the worst centers snapping the ball in college history.
Well, that's his job. If that guy, sorry, what was his name? Seth.
The one that transferred.
Yeah, he's at Ohio State
Kirby
now.
Smart.
Yeah, if he couldn't handle the job, then Rees needed to. They probably should have put somebody else in there, move that guy over to guard or something. I mean, if you can't snap a ball and you're that consistent about it, and he really was. We even games that we did pretty well in, we still had moments where you didn't feel confident.
All season long, that motherfucker was snapping the ball like any which way except into Milroe's hands.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to y'all against Auburn. He's the one that put y'all in the shape you were in at the end where Milroe had to do a miracle to win the game. You know?
Correct. That is correct.
Shannon, you're always talking about the guy who he accepted the job and then turned it down right before Saban was hired. And that was Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rod, who's the head coach over at Jack State now. He is still coaching in the state of Alabama, just a little further up the road.
But I'm wondering if you remember, and I believe it was back when Mike Price eventually got hired. Alabama actually hired Mike Riley, who ended up at Nebraska a few years later. Hired Mike Riley, and Mike Riley did the same exact fucking thing. He went to tell his wife, "Hey, got the job at Alabama," and she said, "I'm not moving to fucking Tuscaloosa."
Yeah.
So, and that happened. But Alabama was in shambles back then. Alabama's facilities wasn't good.
Alabama, the Alabama Crimson Tide has one of the finest football programs in college football, but their nightlife in Tuscaloosa is not that great. Let's be real.
If you like that kind of thing.
If you like,
apparently Saban and Miss Terry does. They have no intentions of
Saban and Miss Terry on any stretch of the imagination. Come on now, you see Saban down there at the bar mixing it up with the kids, dancing to the
So Chad, did you see any of the rumors pop up that Alabama was looking at your boy?
Yes. And actually, I'm still nervous because I know that there's other teams that are going to need a head coach. So.
Oh yeah, we've got a domino effect going on right now.
Washington is looking for a new head coach right now.
No, I believe they've got their man already.
They already got it filled. All right.
It's the guy from Arizona. What's his name? Shit, let me look it up. I'm pretty sure they've hired him.
You really need to get a tablet, Doug.
A tablet and a PC. That
You
way
know,
it
because
has the
when
stats.
Joe Rogan tells Jamie to look something up, you don't hear a bunch of click, click, click in the background. It's all seamless.
Let me see.
But
Jed Fish.
Jethro Fish.
Fish. It's a weird spelling. Fisch.
That's that would that be German, Dutch?
Maybe.
Shannon,
Yes.
should I be concerned about Freeman being poached by somebody else?
I mean, why not? You know, I don't know which other major programs are going to be looking for a coach this year, other than which Washington's already filled theirs, Alabama's filled theirs, Michigan's just waiting on that conference from Jim Harbaugh. That's coming. That's a coming thing. Can't wait to see him go. Cheap ass. Booger.
But yeah,
I'm really going to miss talking shit about that guy. You know, this is kind of a bittersweet moment for me. To see him go. I think the moment he makes his announcement, everybody needs to stop what they're doing and we need to jump on and do a podcast immediately. And I'm going to probably be naked, touching myself a lot during that conversation. It's been a long time.
Well, look at that time.
Yeah. Sure is.
Okay, so Ed, who's coming on later, says that he's in the studio and it just don't look like it did last time.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Don't.
I see his little black box.
I see his box, but I don't see the Ed. You know, again.
Oh no. That's not Ed's box. That's just a box that I have in the graphic. But
so you're just waiting for Ed to fill his box. Exactly,
man. We need somebody in that box.
Yeah, we need Ed in the box. Ed's got to get in the box.
So how's everybody feeling about this hire? Doug, you and I will speak last about this because we're Alabama fans, and I'm sure we're probably going to have the loudest, most opinionated voices in this conversation. But Dr. Balls, Robert Arthur, what is going on with this hire? How do you feel about it? Do you think Alabama made a good move? Is this another Ray Perkins deal? Is he going to Mike Price it, not even make the first game? What's going to happen here?
I think it's a good move. Now he's got more resources. What he have, and what we're going to find out is whether or not he's married to any one philosophy, because it seems like he only wanted to pass at Washington, but he's got horses to do whatever he wants, and he's been successful at every level. I think he's going to try to do his own thing, but within the bounds of what can be done. And the main thing he's got to fix, as you said, is get a center. All they have to do, in my opinion, is get a center.
Well, the center left. Thank God he's gone.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he went to Ohio State or something. That's the last rumor I heard, which good on him.
So if they've got a good line, I think he can basically do whatever he wants. He's got backs. The rest of the line is good. He's got the two receivers transferred, but he showed that he could develop receivers. So it might not be a championship season this year, but I'll give him 3 years to play in the championship game at the longest.
And of course, he's going to have the was the fourth runner-up for the Heisman this year, coming back for quarterback. So that's been some good news for Alabama fans. A lot of the rumors churning and churning. Jalen Milroe leaving. Where is he going to go? And of course, he is taken to the Twitter, now X, and maybe Instagram too. The kids do the Instagram a lot these days. They do the Snapchat too and send dick selfies. You ever send a dick selfie on Snapchat there, Dr. Balls?
Not on Snapchat, but I've sent them on a regular text and Facebook.
You're old enough to be. You're old enough. You probably did some Polaroids too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
The Polaroid dick pic.
The instant ones.
Yeah, that's a tough. You know, it's easy to hold your camera phone, your little small device, and take your picture of your cod on that thing. But man, those Polaroids, that was a big box, and then it had the flash. You know, you couldn't do that. It wasn't a very quiet, what's the word I'm looking for? Covert operation. It was not a covert operation because it made a little sound when it put the picture out.
Oh, yeah. Now it's best with Polaroid to get a side view, right?
Yeah.
The way this Polaroid works. But I got to preface it that no dick pics without request. I never just sent one, right? They had to know. They had to.
That's exactly right. That's what we're here about on Smacking Off. No dick pics without consent.
That's right.
I feel like I don't know. I feel naked because my audience isn't jumping in with me. We're all about dick pics and consent here on Smacking Off the podcast.
That's right.
Chad, how do you feel about this hire? Do you think Alabama made a mistake here, or did they do a good thing? Was this the most? I really think this was probably the only great coach or seemingly good coach available. Chad.
Well, I'm gonna start off with saying that, admitting right now that I was fucking wrong. I thought it was gonna be Sark.
Really?
I don't believe Alabama could have convinced Sark.
Well, not only that, but again, Texas is finally tasting a little bit of victory now after when was the last time that they were playing for a championship? It was 2010,
2009 or 10.
Yeah, Alabama Crimson Tide whooped that ass.
I don't think that Bama was interested in getting into a bidding war for Sark with Texas.
No. And again, Sark left Alabama in good graces, and unlike some other candidates, which we'll bring that up here in just a second. But yeah, he left the right way. Has found some really, really, really good success at a Texas team that has kind of been tumultuous the last decade or so. Yeah, it's been a tough job. That's almost like getting the Auburn job.
Chad. One thing I want to say.
I like this. It kind of turns me on.
One thing I do want to say though is Washington's head coach. I think it was fucking shitty the way he left Washington.
Oh man,
without even
with all that, man. Come on now.
No.
Alabama's a better job. Alabama's a better job. You're gonna be able to make better recruits. You have a better. That's not
my point. That's not my point.
What is your point?
I think it was shitty the way he left and didn't even have a fucking meeting with his team.
Who cares?
Oh, wow.
I mean, he's taking a better job. Look, man, let me tell you something right now. I worked at Taco Bell in the mall when I was a kid, and I went there for one day and realized that everybody on that crew hated me because, I was the only white guy. The rest of the crew was, they weren't white. And I read the room and realized, you know what, this ain't going to work out. So there wasn't a big flowery speech. I didn't gather everybody in the dining room and say, look here, guys. This isn't working out. I got to change positions. I got to go. I'm going to go take the restaurant job 3 stalls up. This is at a mall, and I'm going to go work at the Wall Street Deli there. Sorry, guys.
Well, guys,
that didn't happen. I just gave him my name tag and got the fuck out of there.
Hold on to that thought, guys, and we're going to go and take a break, and we'll be right back.
Is this going to be the Bones Coffee Girl, please?
Find us on the web at smacology.42web.io. There you can find our latest episode, or you can support the podcast by following our affiliate links at the top of the page. You can even buy some awesome Smacking Off merchandise. Again, that is smacology.42web.io.
We're here at Commonwealth Stadium, representing for the Kentucky Wildcats, right against Georgia Bulldogs, right? And I'm live here, and there's fun and excitement going on. I know you can see that. This is Smacking Off, the podcast.
Hi, we're Fiverr, a global marketplace connecting individuals and businesses with freelancers offering thousands of digital services. Graphic design, web development, video editing, e-commerce marketing. You name it, there's a professional freelancer ready to make it happen. Filter your search by the service needed, budget, timeline, and boom! Fiverr provides a list of talented freelancers to meet your specific needs. Always know what you'll pay up front. No hourly rates, just project-based pricing. And because payment isn't released until you approve the work, you can rest assured that you'll be satisfied with the quality and get exactly what you want. Our support team is always available to answer questions or offer assistance when you need it. With the whole world of freelance talent at your fingertips, what might you achieve? Join today and find out. Fiverr. It starts here.
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-producer. I'm joined with Robert Arthur, Dr. Balls, and we're also joined with our guest, Chad Brown, this evening, talking about the hire at the University of Alabama.
Hell yeah. I like that hire, man. The only way I think they could have done better with that is to have gotten the coach of Liberty. He used to be the coach of Coastal Carolina. I believe that would.
I'm telling you, man, that's where I was at the whole time. And then the state of Alabama, the two big teams in the state of Alabama would both have former Liberty head coaches. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Liberty must be the coach developing program.
Liberty is now the coaching combine for major SEC programs. I love it.
In Alabama.
Who would have thunk that when Jerry Falwell was up there suing Larry Flint for saying all those things about his mama?
I agree. Anything Jerry Falwell's involved in, there's probably plenty of donations.
You don't really think that he had sex with his mom, do you? I didn't read that and think that he had sex with his mom.
No, I just thought that was Larry Flint being a cunt.
All right, Larry Flint was definitely a cunt, but I kind of like that sort of thing. Those people, they near and dear to my heart. I'm a Gigi
him and
Allen guy.
Larry Flint and Woody Harrelson are both legends where I'm from, right? And they're Cincinnati area guys. They've lived on both sides of the river in Kentucky and in Ohio. And those guys are like legends where I'm from, man, because they just basically said and done whatever the fuck they want to do,
I love Woody. I actually watched. I went back and rewatched True Detective season 1. Probably one of the greatest things that he's ever been involved in. And when you're talking about Woody Harrelson and the films that he's been involved in, that's a bold statement.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody's never seen True Detective, particularly season 1, because each season is a different story. The season 1 is with him and Matthew McConaughey. It's legend.
Now they got a new one, Jodie Foster.
That's what I heard. She's a lesbian now.
Oh, fan. She's always looked like one.
Yeah, she is one. That's why she looked like that.
After she was with Robert De Niro on Taxi Driver, she probably got turned into one.
She was a youngin'. She was a baby when she did that movie. How old was she? Like 15 or some shit?
She was like 14, man.
Yeah.
And he probably did all kinds of stuff to her the way Hollywood ran in them days.
Not De Niro. Yeah, I've always liked De Niro.
Oh, I'm
De Niro's a good
the director too, though.
Oh yeah. The directors are all fucking everything that Wood nails down.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher went through like 9 dicks before they shot the first scene in Star Wars.
Damn it, Jim. She
Get
said
the
that.
fuck out, man.
She's a hoe. Or was
Not
a hoe.
anymore.
No, I mean, she's passed.
Speaking ill of the dead, man.
All right,
You're
all right.
speaking.
No, I'm not. I'm
you're
not
speaking
ill of that. That's just what you did.
You're speaking
so
ill of a fucking princess as well.
The girls now own their hoedom. I love it.
We're celebrating.
Yeah, she's royalty, dude. She's royalty.
We're celebrating
she's
her
a
ability
queen.
to do whatever it takes.
Was she officially a queen, or was she just because she would, by the time she would have been queen, that planet she was the princess of was gone.
Yeah, they blew it up, didn't they? Did Death Star get it?
Dark. Yeah.
Actually, she would have been queen of Naboo, and she was just a guest on Alderaan. She's been hid at Alderaan, but she would have been queen of Naboo, technically, had they known she existed, right? Because her mother, Padme, was queen of Naboo, so therefore she would have been queen of Naboo.
Yeah, but why weren't what was Jar Jar Binks? Because they were from Naboo too. Why weren't they allowed to be king? Why wasn't Jar Jar Binks king? I think that's
because
they
they were racially against the Gungans. If you remember the first of the prequels, right? They had to make a deal with the Gungans.
I didn't really want to talk about any of the prequels actually. I just wanted to talk about. Yeah, man, they're bad. The second one, the first one's not that. Phantom Menace isn't that bad. The second one it's one of the most wretched, almost unwatchable turds.
It's awful
of a movie you can imagine. Even for sci-fi standards, because you have to kind of grade on the curve. There's some slightly cheesy sci-fi movies that are still pretty good.
I agree. And that's what's going to be like at Alabama if he goes into an all-out passing game. There's people that wonder whether or not that DeBoer is going to try an all-out passing game, but I don't know that necessarily that's his philosophy. I looked at some of the videos from the NAIA days, and hell, he was running the read option and the straight-up option at times. I think that DeBoer is good enough that he's going to be able to mold to whatever talent's available.
SM Gibson actually sent me a link to a YouTube video that was done by George Teague. And if you're an Alabama fan, you will remember his very, 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 very famous pass. Probably I think probably one of the best offensive plays in college football ever, where he ran up and straight up stole the football from the Michigan.
Yeah, the only thing is
runner.
that was a defensive play.
Well, yeah, it was a defensive play, but
It looked very offensive to the Miami people.
It was extremely offensive. That really pretty much just kind of cemented the fact that Miami had no chance to win that game when that play happened. It was probably one of the most aggressive plays you can ever imagine. I love
That
it.
was an awesome play. It broke my heart.
Just straight up stole it from him and began to run back the other
So
way.
I
Didn't
believe
score a
that
touchdown, but it led to a touchdown. So.
I believe that Bruce Martinez is watching, and I want to dive a little bit deeper into what Chad was saying. Hey, Bruce, our guest tonight, Chad Brown, was saying that that Kalen left without having a meeting with the players. Is this true? And I'm going to see if he responds.
That's a non-issue to me. It really is. I mean,
Hey,
he didn't even do. Everybody talks about what a great coach Nick Saban was. I mean, Nick Saban straight up lied to two different fan bases before he got to Alabama.
That's
straight
true.
up in front of the camera, looked straight in the camera. I'm not going anywhere. And then the next day announced as the head coach for either the Miami Dolphins or the Alabama Crimson Tide. I love it.
It's true.
It don't sit well with me. I really don't like a coach leaving without meeting with his players. That's what Tommy Tuberville did to Ole Miss.
Haven't y'all ever broke up with a girl and just not call her back? Just like, it's like, this thing's kind of run its course. There's no sense in even talking about it. I know football team, whatever, man. It doesn't matter. In this day and age, that all of that relationship shit is out the window now, the NILs.
Because the last thing
NIL
that I heard,
transfer portal basically means that we don't have to get used to each other. We just have to put up with each other for a little while. Let's fuck for a while. Let's have some good times. Let's let this thing run its course. And then I'm off to Clemson when I don't get the starting position next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it is a bad luck to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I bet we're in 2024. The bad looks are in style now.
I agree with Doug though, because you're a mentor to these kids.
Mentor schmentor. That money's the mentor, baby. Bet your ass on that. I mean,
You're right. They make a lot of promises,
kids have already been guided and mentored enough up to that point. They're just in it for the money now. So I mean, let's just roll with it. I mean, that's why we couldn't have a guy like Dabo Swinney.
Franchione left Alabama in the same fashion. He did not meet with the players, and I remember people were madder than fuck about it.
Well, I mean,
and I'm not a Brian Kelly fan by any stretch of the imagination, but at least he did have a 5-minute meeting with his players when he left.
He don't know those kids shit. He was a coach there for a couple of years. The end.
Okay, so Bruce Martinez has chimed in on this, and he says that he did meet with the players. He said that, but there was only about 25% of the team left that hadn't transferred out, or just basically left the team. So he's saying that he did meet with an abbreviated version of the team
members were left. Yes,
but a lot of them didn't show up.
Because they already knew what it was about, huh?
I guess they did, because the news was already calling him the head coach. So
we don't need these conferences and meetings and shit anymore. We have the internet. We have text messages. And you can message everybody. Hey guys, just wanted to let y'all know that I'm not going to be the head coach next year. It was a pleasure working with you guys. See y'all later.
I mean, Bruce is saying he definitely met with them.
22.
So Bruce, he lives over close to Seattle. I'm trying to remember, where does Bruce live?
He lives in Seattle, right? He lives right beside the old
in the SeaTac area.
The old Seattle arena that they like right down the street. He's right on the bay on the side of a hill. He's the prototypical Seattle kind of guy. It's more like Tacoma. He's more closer to Tacoma than Seattle, but it's a beautiful spot.
S.M. Gibson lived in Tacoma for a little while. I went visiting for a couple of weeks, and that is a beautiful, beautiful area. I love that part of the country.
Was he an Army Ranger?
Who, Scott?
Yeah.
No. SM was he. It's kind of weird. The reason he moved up there is because Scott can't sweat.
No.
He literally he cannot. He physically cannot produce sweat. It's like a 1 in a million genetic disorder thing.
Yeah.
And so he will if he gets out into warm temperatures, which you know how hot it gets down here in Alabama, it'll kill him. like with in a very short, like 10-minute span or something.
Damn.
So in the summertime, it's got to be around air conditioning, stuff like that. So that was his main reason to move up there. That and Scotty was doing a lot of music stuff. So Scotty wanted to get up there and get plugged into the music scene.
Okay, so the dog father, Bruce Martinez, wants us to know that he lives in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, I like
Which is
Tacoma. That's a
pretty
bit
close to Seattle.
Yeah, it's about 30-minute drive.
Yeah, I met him and Sean and hung out with them, had a few drinks and stuff up there. It was beautiful.
You got to go visit with him. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I think you told
when I
me
made my trip out west, I just went over there. I was staying in Seattle anyway before I hit the Pacific Coast Highway, and the guys we're all communicating. And they said, "The hell with it, let's go to the bar, man."
So Sean made it up too, or was he already up in the area? Or
He actually lived in the area at the time.
He lived right down close.
I think he's Sean's in California now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe he's in San Fran, close to San Francisco.
He's been reposted. I think he may even be at the Presidio.
So Ed is not able to get into the studio tonight for some reason or another. He said he keeps coming in, and it's a studio and everything, but it's not our studio. Wait, no, I see him. I see everybody.
Ed, what's up?
I don't see him yet.
I'll add him here in a second. We're going to take a break. I guess we can have everybody on and go ahead and give Chad some more chance to talk, unless you need to go, Chad.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right, let's take a break and then we'll come back and we'll add these Michigan assholes, right?
Let's do it.
Give me 1 second. Got to do this shit right.
You are now watching or listening to Smacking Off the Podcast. If you love it, tell your friends about it. If you hate it, share it with your enemies.
It was just a small gift from Mummy and Daddy. One, however, that would spark a bit of an obsession. It started out innocent enough, as these things always do, but quickly lit the fuse to something bigger. Mum and Dad encouraged other activities, but alas, had to sell things almost as fast as they bought them. Friends and family thought it was cute. It's just a bit of fun, they said. It's just a phase, they said. Well, it's all fun and games until your child is 34, still lives at home, and absolutely nothing has changed. These things should really come with a warning label. Buy, sell, eBay.
All right, we are back, and we're fixing to bring some. We're going to bring some Michigan guys in. I've got a feeling they got stuff to talk about.
I mean, we're obviously very happy.
Keith, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, and Ed, are y'all still celebrating?
Yeah. Although, I was down and out with COVID during the game, so it was just like, yay, and I was no jumping up and down. So.
Is it cold in Michigan? Is it
Ed, you had the COVID. Yeah, you had the COVID. You got your taste back yet?
I never lost my taste, and I don't know what the weather's like in Michigan. I live in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
It's bitter.
That's where my dad's people are from.
It's like 12 degrees today, but I don't know what the wind chill was.
Yeah,
it's negative 5 here in Iowa. I was
okay.
Trying to get y'all a good look at what's going on around me. The foot of snow and the massive amounts of ice. I don't know how well it translates on the camera.
You're in Iowa, or are you going to hang out with Mac while you're up there?
My goal on my way is to hook up with Mac.
Have you reached out to her? She's doing her podcast now too. She needs to invite me on her podcast, and you need to remind her of that.
That's right. She needs to invite you on her podcast. That's right.
She does. She owes me.
Yes, I agree.
She came on this
100%.
podcast, and then I go on her podcast, and then we podcast together, and back and forth, and it's a symbiotic relationship.
Oh, yeah. We like that.
Keith, where'd you come from? There's Keith. Keith is here. Ed's here. Bunch of Michigan people off to the side. I like that. You just keep them on that side and keep me on my side. That'll be fine. I'm still mad. Still a little
I mean,
salty.
rivalries are good.
Sometimes.
Which rivalries are we talking about?
Talking about now
All
the new, the renewed Alabama-Michigan rivalry. Fuck Michigan.
They renewed
Fuck
it?
Michigan even harder now.
When did the
Come on.
Alabama-Michigan rivalry begin?
It re-began just a few weeks ago.
I understand that. When did it first begin?
God, that was a long time ago. That was before I was
The
born.
very first Alabama-Michigan game that I can remember would be the Hall of Fame Bowl in 1988.
Yeah, they've played 6 times, so I question whether that's a true rivalry by anybody's
not.
measure.
Well,
Probably
y'all need
not.
to schedule us more, Dick. I mean, Keith. Excuse me. Did
Yeah,
I say that out loud?
I'll get on the phone with Ward Manuel and we'll straighten that out. We might be seeing a lot of each other in the postseason now that everybody gets a participation trophy.
No, Harbaugh's going to be leaving soon. He'll be headed to the NFL. So
because Michigan
Gus Malzahn will be your new head coach soon, I'm sure.
Stop.
From all the success that he's had at UCF.
No, it'll be more.
You don't like,
Power 6
Ed,
program.
you do not like Gus Malzahn?
I don't either.
He's kind of a dweeb.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to hook
He
y'all
is a dork. He is like the biggest dork of a head coach I can possibly
Thank you.
think of. He is.
Yeah.
He's goofy. He looks like the kind of guy that you would ask him a math problem and he'd reel it off the top of his head, and then you'd ask him something about pussy and he would just look clueless.
He looks to me like a kind of guy you would ask him, where's Alabama ranked this year? At the end of the year, and he would say, 8th.
Oh, somewhere down, somewhere in the top 10, I guess. I don't want to talk about it.
No, 8th to be
Yeah,
exact.
that's what he said. That's what he said.
Keith.
That's what he wrote now.
Yep.
He wrote the number 8 next to Alabama, and we will never forget that.
Oh, sorry, Keith. We should be playing you guys every year, and that really it bothers me that we don't.
Are you
But I
representing
think
Bama?
with the realignment and the new teams coming into, the new teams that have already been in, well, you got Texas and Oklahoma. I forgot about them, but other teams that have come over.
Can't forget
to
about
SEC,
them. They're
and with
SEC
the
dollars
Big Ten
now.
realignment, I don't think it's feasible.
You're talking about Alabama, Michigan yearly?
No,
Yeah.
I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Oh, Notre Dame. Well, we used to.
Yeah,
It was
and it's
one of the greatest rivalries in college football.
If Notre Dame would join a conference, maybe they could join the Big Ten conference and play every year. That would happen every year.
I give Notre Dame 5 more years before we're in a conference.
Really?
I
would freeze over before you guys do that.
No,
I don't know now that things have changed as far as now these new super conferences. NCAA is a toothless old dog now. It's going to help tremendously, particularly. I don't know if what I'm saying is going to hold true in college basketball per se, but college football,
Yeah, that's a different world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you see what's happened with the conference alignment, and now it's the SEC, the Big Ten, and everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, Notre Dame needs the TV money
And the
from
Pac-2.
NBC to
Remember
pay
the Pac-2?
attorney fees.
Get those guys.
Yeah. Let's never forget the Pac-2.
Never forget. Hashtag.
If
never
we join,
forget.
if we join a conference, I think it'll be the Big Ten.
Why don't? Hey! Now wait a minute. Now Notre Dame could be a part of the Pac-2 and make it the Pac-3.
Get the hell out, Shannon.
That would be amazing, and they would instantly be the heavy favorite in that conference. I mean, who else is left? Washington State and Oregon State. Come on.
Imagine
man.
having two teams left from a conference that's so historical.
And not even the good teams.
No, but it's such a historical conference that they're going to get the Mountain West probably in the end. The Mountain West will join the Pac.
That's crazy.
Get it back to 12
Yeah,
maybe
well,
or 10.
Notre Dame could join the Mountain West, and they could be in good shape to get the Group of 5 bid every year.
Yes.
I mean,
We're not joining the Group of
I know
Five conference.
we're just kind of laughing and kidding right now, but there will be some teams. What BYU's finally they affiliated, right? They joined the
Yes.
Big 12.
They're
Big
12.
12, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Then
for
Then
them.
with
year,
Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF.
Yeah.
And throw the Utes in there for next year, and Arizona State.
What the fuck is a
Is there
Ute?
somebody else? Yeah, you gotta love those Utes.
Ed still got the COVID. Don't spread your COVID.
So
Keep
I'm
them over on that
negative,
side of the screen
but
because
I'm
I don't want the
negative. I
COVID
still
again.
have a cough, which is partly from COVID and partly from acid reflux and partly from vaping. So who the hell knows?
You were saying acid reflux. I was like, what? Because I wasn't going to wait for the reflux. I was going to jump right in. Like, dude, you're taking acid on the show? That's great.
Dr. Balls, that's what I used to smoke.
Small dose.
Oh yeah.
Newports.
If you hang out and spin around,
I didn't know you were a menthol guy. I don't know why I missed that.
Oh, I'll show you again, Shannon.
What is that like? They're like $12 a pack now, right? That's the expensive
I don't
shit.
know.
That's
I vape. I spend $50 a month in juice instead of $400 for cigarettes.
Right, but it's just not the same experience for me. I've got plenty of money, to be honest, and so that's why I'm on the road right now. So
plenty of disposable income.
He's got so much money. He's trying to figure out
some
shit to do with
Newports.
it.
You're probably drinking some Michelobes too. You're not even drinking cheap beer.
Hell, I
That
haven't bought beer
shit
so
on
long. I don't even know
Heineken's.
if they ain't got Rolling Rock, I'm not a buyer.
Come on, now. How about some
My dad was a
Lowenbrow?
Rolling Rock guy.
Has anybody seen any Lowenbrow lately?
Lowenbrow, wow, that's
You
up there
remember
with
that shit?
Stroh's.
I'm a Heineken man.
I went to years
man?
ago. Went to Mardi Gras down in New Orleans, and we went to this. We cut into this little dive bar off to the side there, off to the side of the quarter. Not one of the big bars, but it was like one of the local bars. And I went in and I asked for the beer list, and the guy had Schlitz.
Ooh.
And I was like, Schlitz. I don't think I've ever had a Schlitz in my whole life. Give me a Schlitz. So when I ordered the Schlitz, because they had some old grizzled veterans there. This was like a local bar. This wasn't one of the tourist traps. This was a local watering hole. They kind of looked at me funny when I first went in there. So I ordered the Schlitz, and come to find out, I was the only person to have ordered the Schlitz since the guy that they used to buy Schlitz for died a couple months before. So the Schlitz had been sitting there for a while unused, and everybody joked about it. Somebody going to come in here and order one. So when I ordered one, I had to hear all the crazy stories about this.
Was it skunky?
Yeah, it was a little skunky.
Okay, well,
but I was already kind of half drunk, so I didn't really notice it. It was just.
I was going to say the skunkiness is a normal thing with Schlitz. It comes out of the factory like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially when it's been sitting around in a cooler.
I've never drank a
probably
Schlitz.
4 months. Yeah.
And hey, you ain't missed anything.
No, you're really not. If you'll take a PBR and put a little water in it, that's a Schlitz.
So let's talk
I don't
about
like PBR either.
Let's get on to Michigan and let's talk about Michigan because there's going to be a Michigan next year, Harbaugh or not, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
they field the team every year for some reason or another.
But is Harbaugh expected to go to one of the teams that's in the playoffs or something?
No, he's the leading candidate for the Chargers, and he's expected to talk to them next week. I think what he's been trying to do is
duck
partake
NCAA
in
calls.
every aspect of the celebration at Michigan before he leaves.
They did a lot of work in preparing for cheating for this championship, so he needs to at least stick around for the cake and the balloons. Fucking asshole.
You know who you sound like? A sixth grader on the playground who lost in sandlot football.
And your point? I'm a child. I'm a man child. I don't know if you've heard this show before or heard my involvement in the show, but I'm literally I'm 6 years old, and I've been 6 years old for 42 years now.
Well, at least you're honest.
Yeah, I am. I have my finger up my ass right now, and I'm going to smell it as soon as we get off here.
Oh my God!
I don't pick my nose and eat it anymore, though. Not like Jim Harbaugh does. I at least know that much. I do that in private.
It wasn't even close.
So
I don't do that on a football field on camera. I do that in private.
So let's go ahead and Keith, do you expect Harbaugh to leave, or are you expecting him to be back?
No, because he's been here 9 years, 9 complete seasons, and for 9 years straight.
What a great 9 years they've been for us.
They've always predicted that he's going to go to the NFL.
Right.
So, if you predict it long enough and it eventually happens, well, what have you predicted?
Yeah, but why this year is it going to happen? Come on, let's be real now. This isn't just a normal average year for Michigan football. Those headlines have been rather spectacular. And I'm talking about long before the championship games.
Okay,
dude.
And it's all okay. So,
I'm sorry.
There's
Shit,
so
I
many
forgot.
implications there. I bet I'd have been $1,000 richer tonight if I had actually put money on this and had a taker. But I told my wife, Michigan just won the national championship. But I guarantee you, I can't guarantee you we'll talk about anything else. But I know we're going to talk about sign stealing.
Because it happened, man.
It had no side, and that's what I'm saying. Y'all just scouting and sign stealing, and there's all these kind of cute little just phrases to cover up the fact that this was like a covert James Bond style operation.
Oh my God, you guys!
You have no evidence
to cheat was just phenomenal.
And you have no evidence to suggest that.
Yeah, we didn't have no evidence. We didn't have no pictures of Connor standing on opposing team sidelines. We didn't have all of the video evidence of Connor dressed like a nun sitting up in the stands there. Oh, never mind me. I'm just watching the children play football, taking pictures and shit.
This is so ignorant.
No evidence. It was just scouting. It was just a little scouting trip. That's all.
Teams in college football history, and you want to talk about sign stealing?
Dude, come on, man. That's what I'm saying. Sign stealing. We were just stealing a few signs for several years, and that. How much money did Michigan spend on this operation? Because Connor wasn't the only person involved in this. Come on now.
Did you say Harbaugh?
No, Connor, the guy that they actually caught.
Like, who cares? Like, I don't
care.
Harbaugh
had nothing to do with it. Harbaugh didn't know anything about it. We know this. Harbaugh does not have any control of the program whatsoever.
Game that mattered after the alleged scandal.
I know. By a much closer margin.
On the road. We beat Ohio State. We beat Iowa. We beat Alabama. We beat Washington.
We were clearly and far and away the best team in college football. Like, we played our C+ game against Bama and still won.
Yeah. And you would have played your A+ game if you had the signs.
I mean, look, I give credit to Bama. That was the team that everybody was ragging on at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn good by the time
they rattled off like 10 straight. They deserve credit.
That Alabama team did not deserve to go to the playoffs, and that was probably the finest coaching job that Nick Saban in his. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Fucking FSU. That's FSU's fault that Bama got in, not ours.
I mean, I'm not
real talk.
I'm not
I agree with you. Sure.
Convinced we would have had a cakewalk with Georgia.
You say you're convinced or you're not?
I'm not convinced that
I'm not either.
Cakewalk.
Yeah, I think
that would have been I would have been a harder game than the Bama game was.
I mean, you didn't have a cakewalk with Bama, even though Bama played like shit throughout the game. I mean, they were still in position to win the game. Absolutely. By and getting into overtime. It was definitely I'd say the Bama Michigan game was the best game of the playoffs. I guess you could say Washington, Texas.
I mean, it went into overtime. I mean, that's a great game. It has a lot of people hanging on. They're both teams kind of went back and forth throughout the whole thing. Looked like Michigan had in the bag there for a while. Then looked like Bama was going to come back and had in the bag. Then the end of the game happened in overtime, and I don't want to talk about the rest. It's subject. Jim Harbaugh picks his nose in each game. Did we mention that?
Texas, because Washington, even though they almost gave it up at the end, they were in control most of the way, where the Michigan-Alabama game did go back and forth.
Yeah, it was
a hell of a game.
It was. I mean, both teams played poorly. I think Doug mentioned that earlier. And like, Michigan doesn't turn the ball over. They are you aware that Michigan didn't have an offensive turnover the entire year?
No, I was not aware of that, but that's amazing.
That's a hell of a stat.
They threw 5 picks, 3 of them against Bowling Green. But as far as fumbles go, they had 3 lost fumbles all year, all on special teams.
That's pretty good.
One of them happened to happen in the Rose Bowl. And if another one had happened, Michigan loses.
I
would have liked to have seen that happen.
But it took a very uncharacteristic play by Michigan in the turnover department in order for that game to be as close as it was. But both Michigan and Bama took turns, putting it on the ground.
Yeah, it took a lot of characteristic plays from our center that we had there that he has done all season long. Yeah, yeah, that was
still
definitely.
there? Did he transfer?
No, I got good news.
He's at Ohio State now.
Yeah, we have good news for you. He went to the Buckeyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I don't know if
Michigan go and score that one in the bag if he's allowed to start this year.
Start him.
I hope they keep him on the bench. No.
I don't know if they're smart. They'll move him to guard or something. But
yeah, or let him go fetch water. He's a big boy. He can carry a lot of water at once.
Yeah. He can do that anyway. He can't snap a football, but he can carry a lot of water.
Yeah, they better not have him go get individual cups of water because they're going to tell him to get 30 cups of water and he's going to come back and what 30 is. So, yeah.
So anybody want to put any money on how long it takes for him to become a tackle instead of a center?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd get his hands as far away from the football as possible.
Yeah, I'm sorry to get mad about this again. I don't want to talk about this no more. we would have marched into the playoffs this year instead of there being this unease.
Guys, don't we have
by FSU? Their bullshit.
Do we have Michigan and Notre Dame game next year?
No.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I don't think there is a future game scheduled between the two.
Oh, that sucks.
That sucks.
That used to be a staple, man.
Absolutely. College football.
Wait, no, yeah,
we get together.
There is, but it's way down the road.
Really?
2033.
Damn.
I think it is.
Yeah. That's 8 years from now. 9 years from now. Damn.
2033.
And I hate Notre Dame like y'all hate Michigan.
Now let me get back to the new Alabama head coach. Has anybody taken a look at Alabama next year?
Take a look at what?
Has anybody taken a look at Alabama's schedule next year?
No, I haven't.
It's rough.
It's going to be among one of the worst and or the most brutal in college football.
It's not even. There's a harder one in the conference. I heard
Oklahoma's got a tough road too,
and I've heard Florida's is brutal.
Yeah,
Georgia's got a tough schedule.
You know, now with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, a lot of people's schedule in the SEC kind of got a little skewed there.
What were you saying about Georgia?
They've got a tough schedule.
Yeah, they got to go to Tuscaloosa. I do know that.
So, what is this new coach? What is DeBoer going to do his first year out? Nick Saban has left Alabama in tremendous shape as far as being able to.
Yeah, but you can lose all that in the transfer portal if we don't watch it.
We've lost a few already. Some of our wide receivers.
But Milroe stepped up and announced right away he's sticking around.
That's what's up.
And I'm in the process of writing an article called 5 Reasons Jalen Milroe Will Win the Heisman Trophy in 2024.
I love
He's
it.
well positioned for it. And he's got a lot.
Wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be wild for DeBoer's first year and he turns Milroe into the Heisman winner?
I'm looking at Bama. There's a 3-game. I don't know, there's like a 3-game stretch that's difficult in the middle, but you get Georgia after your off week.
True story.
And yeah, you got 2 cupcakes and then at Wisconsin, but Wisconsin they would have to markedly improve over what they did this year.
I'm not worried terribly about that unless we just get completely hollowed out.
It's a difficult place to play. Just going to forewarn you. But that
Georgia's going to be pissed all year.
Good. I have no problem with that, actually.
In Tennessee, Missouri, another off week, and then at LSU. Obviously,
and Missouri's good. They'll be good again.
What's Missouri going to be like this year? Because they surprised the shit out of everybody.
Well, they lose Schrader. He's a stud. But I wouldn't sleep on Tennessee because that guy that played in the bowl game looks like he's better than Milton. Milton has all the talent in the world, but he's inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
And this quarterback, he's got like a Hawaiian name. I can't pronounce it, but he's a legit dual threat.
Now Missouri signed the number 1 defensive player in the country, if anybody's paying attention.
Who?
Missouri signed the number 1 defensive
Missouri's
player in the
class
country.
was intense this year.
Well, who knows if he'll have an impact this upcoming year, but
he'll automatically be more talented than anybody they had on defense, right? And yet they still had the results they had, which by Missouri standards was real good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd say Missouri, we're looking at 9-3, 10-2 team with that schedule even. And that's basically what I'm seeing out of all the top SEC teams. For somebody to come out of the SEC.
Their quarterbacks come back, right?
Yeah. 11-1
But they also
out of the
lose.
SEC.
I mean, they lose what? Oh, wait a minute. Luther Burden, he's only going to be a junior, so he'll probably be back. And they lose Schrader. Schrader's just freaking stud. He's kind of like John Riggins with some speed.
Yeah, he was held back.
How about Michigan? What's Michigan's schedule look like? Anybody got that handy?
That non-conference is
we got USC, Washington.
I mean, it's not as tough as everybody thought it was going to be originally. I mean, you got Texas in the second week. That's going to be a great game, but it's in Ann Arbor.
It's going to be difficult to predict how good some of the big name opponents on Michigan's schedule are going to be,
right.
And it's going to be difficult to predict how good Michigan's going to be.
True. I mean, we're losing guys by just declaring for the draft. Braden McGregor, defensive end, he's gone. Chris Jenkins, I don't know that he's come right out, but everything
gone.
Like he's gone.
He's gone.
Okay.
And most importantly, the main guy that you've got over there at Michigan, your stud, Jim Harbaugh, is he going to be there?
I think he would have benefited from staying another year. He makes a lot of mistakes that if you make on an NFL roster, you're going to have a hard time keeping the starting job. But whatever. I don't fault anybody for going pro anymore. But as far as Michigan, you got Texas in week 2, USC in week 4, cupcakes in between. Who knows how good USC is going to be? And they might be better without Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams was.
Wait. Michigan's playing Texas?
They play Texas in week 2. They open with Fresno State, who had a decent year, but that should be a win. But then host Texas, Arkansas State, then USC, Minnesota. So the first 5 games are all at home. Then you travel to Seattle, take on Washington.
And they're unknown.
Yeah, we don't know what Washington's going to be next year.
No.
Penix is gone.
Their coach is gone.
At Alabama.
They're hiring the Arizona coach is what I'm hearing.
Yep. Yes, but I'm sure there'll be some losses there. I'm sure some people will be leaving.
Jed Fish, he knows ball, so he will do great at Washington, I think.
Arizona was much improved too. They turned out to be a decent team this year.
Yeah.
I was on Arizona's bandwagon before most, not as early as I should have been.
And so, what are y'all expecting out of Michigan next year?
Oh, I mean, anybody's guess, but I don't. This schedule is not the juggernaut we thought it was, say 3-4 months ago.
I got you.
Because I mean, it's one. I would argue Alabama's schedule is more difficult just from the standpoint of having to go back to back off week and then another one. I mean, 3 out of 4 games where you have to be up in order and play very well if you're gonna win. Michigan's are spaced out. You got Texas off or not off. Texas, Arkansas State, USC, Minnesota. Minnesota's Minnesota. Like they're not going to win. Then at Washington off. At Illinois, Michigan State's trash. Oregon Duck. You got the Oregon Ducks coming into Ann Arbor, but again, you've had a lot of cupcakes in between. Then you got at Indiana, another off week. Northwestern at Ohio State, and down in Columbus. So they're spread out. So
that's
it's
not
a lot easier to get up for
Gabriel
those games.
Going to Oregon, he's a stud.
Who's that?
Okay, so
Dylan Gabriel.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, so if I've got this right, Keith has Harbaugh still coaching Michigan next year, and Ed, you think he'll be gone, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Of course, if he went to the Commanders, then I could handle that.
Chad?
So Shannon, we were. I was going to say we've been talking about schedules. I hate to say it, but Notre Dame's schedule next year or this year is Charmin soft.
What do we got?
You open up with Texas A&M at Kyle Field.
Well, I think it would look better if Jimbo was still the coach.
Not would it?
No, this is addition by.
No, I think it would look better. It would look better for Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think they're going to be better without him.
A&M with that defensive head coach.
That's what I meant.
Oh yeah, I
would feel better if I was a Notre Dame guy. If Jimbo was still the coach.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I got you there.
Schedule strength.
Notre Dame's going to roll into College Station with the former Duke quarterback, and he's going to be playing against his former head coach, who knows him.
So you like Texas A&M there?
I can't
breaking news
Notre
that
Dame
Travis
ever, but yeah, I like
Texas A&M versus Notre Dame.
They're going to be rejuvenated after the Jimbo fiasco.
Texas A&M won't be Notre Dame. I'm telling you now.
No, that's not going to happen. I don't think. I would be rather surprised. Now there's hopefully some good talent left there in the drawer that is not left.
Okay, so what we got A&M early. Is that the first game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's a tough opener.
Then you play 3 dogs, and then you host Louisville to wrap up September. Stanford at Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State in November in South Bend.
Is it going to be the Florida State that played Georgia, or is it going to be the one that would have won the world championship if all their players showed up?
Is Jordan Travis coming back?
I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
The way it's going for Florida State, they'll probably just grab Milroe in the portal. They've already grabbed
the whole entire program has pretty much kind of exposed themselves as bitches. So
they've already gotten 5. They've already gotten 5 Alabama players in the transfer portal, is what I've heard.
Damn.
I know Roy Dale Williams is one of them.
Which that sounds like a number they'd have anyway, even if Saban was staying, because everybody's got people in the transfer portal. So
that's true.
Yeah,
and let's not forget that Notre Dame's major problem last year was we had no fucking offense, and now we just brought in Mike Denbrock from LSU.
Who's your quarterback?
He had a transcendent player, though, at LSU. That's the reason they had great stats, is that Jalen Daniels was a stat maker, but it didn't translate into the kind of wins that LSU fans want. And
because LSU's defense was terrible. Terrible fucking
defense.
Yep.
Notre Dame have a defense.
Their defense was almost as bad as our fucking offense.
Yeah. Now, did y'all have a receiver transfer that was a top-notch guy, Chad?
Rico Flores, yeah.
So I'm wondering about that, but I've also seen in the 24/7 y'all recruited high, including two studs at wide receiver.
And we got Bo Collins from Clemson and Chris Mitchell coming in from the transfer portal.
So I think with that schedule, any talk of Notre Dame's demise is surely exaggerated, you know?
Yeah, I see 4 games on paper that they could lose. A&M, Louisville, Florida State, USC.
And I believe they'll beat Louisville. Even if they go to Louisville, Louisville's fan base isn't the most loyal, and they run in cycles. They can produce a top 10 team every 3 to 4 years if they're properly coached.
Right.
And
I don't believe in Louisville. Right. Yeah, I don't believe in Louisville. And
Bob
I think
loves to shit on Louisville on this program.
Hell's down, baby.
No, I don't think USC is going to be that good.
Yeah, and even if they are good, they're not going to play no defense. They haven't made any changes.
They got a new defensive coordinator. I forget where he's from, but he's pretty good. And that guy who sat on the bench all season long threw 6 friggin' touchdowns in the bowl game.
Yeah, well, that ain't bad.
That Riley hype has really kind of gone away, man. For a while, it was like, Jesus Christ, these guys hasn't played a game yet, and people were acting like the USC people were acting like they were shoe into the national championship game.
Oh yeah.
They're not actually. They weren't.
You don't think they are?
No, they were not.
You don't feel
last
it
year. No, they weren't even close. They weren't even close to win the PAC championship.
They couldn't even beat those Utes, could they?
Nope.
Utes.
Y'all can call me fucking crazy or whatever, but I think
You're
Notre Dame has
crazy.
I think Notre Dame has a legitimate shot next year.
Oh,
to
definitely.
be number 12.
They do.
To be number 12.
Well, number 12 will.
Number 12 will get in.
Number 12
in
will
the
do.
right year, it'll get you in, right?
Number
Yeah.
12 will do. Hey, do you know how
And
the
Notre Dame's
structure
number
is?
12. That could be your Michigan Notre Dame game, with Notre Dame coming to Ann Arbor if we're number
The
5.
loser will win the live championship.
So,
The best group of 5 isn't guaranteed the 12 spot. It's all dependent on a ranking system. Is that right?
No,
Yes.
the group of 5 champions in. It's the 5 Power 5 conference champions.
no, I don't think the group of 5
the-
champion is
whoever-
automatic. I don't
there's
think a group of
one
5
is a group
automatically
of
gets a
5.
team in.
Yeah, it's not Power 5 anymore either because the PAC only has 2 teams.
Right.
And the ACC is not a power
There are
program at all.
6
There's no
conference
power there.
champions that get in.
Yeah.
Say that again, Ed.
6 conference champions and 6 at large get in.
Okay, so we're going to get a group of 5 champion, even if the best one is 9-4. You say?
Yes.
Liberty.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Hey, Liberty went undefeated last year, bitch.
Yeah, we could get Liberty. We would have Liberty in it this
Yeah,
year.
but it according to what Ed's saying, we're going to get one in, even if we don't have a worthy one.
Yeah, there's one
Well,
slot.
but keep in mind, if you get somebody like a Liberty from this year that gets in, they could potentially make a run to the Final Four before
Liberty
they
couldn't.
get slaughtered like George Mason in college hoops.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't feel this whole, a MAC team say at 9-4 getting in. I don't think that's in the interest of the process.
That's
It
what's
is-
going to
it is
happen when
from
you do
the standpoint-
12 team playoffs. You're going to have matchups that are supposed to happen. Then you're going to have some matchups that everybody's going to be scratching their head about. I mean, we knew this was going to happen.
Yep. Well, you hopped over the perfect number. The magic number was
You see it in the NCAA tournament in basketball all the time. That 12 and 17 team that won their conference that gets in there and that gets slaughtered by the number 1 seed team immediately.
Well, I agree with Keith on this. 8 was plenty.
and there's no going
18
back.
playoff would have been fine.
There's no going back either. You'll never see an 8.
No, you're right.
No, I like 12 because I think that it's going to leave room. Of course, there's going to be 1 or 2 unwatchable games or one game that we're going to be, cutting off in the middle of the game because it's
All I ask, if we're going to do 12
30
teams,
to 6, going into halftime shit.
if we're going to do 12 teams, let's do our best to get the 12 best teams in and not pull
They're
some team
systematically
in.
making sure that doesn't happen.
No, you got to put a group of 5 team in there. It's not legitimate, right? If you're telling,
Not if there's not one that's not good enough. Why would you bring one in?
so there'll be hope, right? For otherwise, there's got to be hope, or there's no reason to be involved in it.
No,
If
the hope is contained in the group of 5 team putting together a season with enough wins over quality opponents to be in the
I'm
top
sure they'll have
12.
that. But that's not the point.
Well,
Drew.
then
The point
they don't need to be there.
If they don't get a chance, they should withdraw from the CFP. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think that these super conferences are being put together to make a bunch of money, and it's going to condense everything into 2 or 3 conferences eventually, and everybody that's left out is going to go on their own, right?
If we're
And
going to
it'll still be
let
run by
a
the
group of
NCAA,
5 team in, if we're
and
going to
they'll
let a
still
group of
make
5
money.
team in,
and they'll
Yeah,
still
if
make
we-
money, right?
if we're going to
Because
let a group of 5 team in that's not worthy to be in there, that's cheapening the whole fucking thing.
it's going to cause split the whole NCAA. The
Yeah, but
whole
Doug,
It'll be a
you're
lot
forgetting-
better if we
Doug,
allow.
you're forgetting one thing though.
What?
A lot of people will tune in for a Cinderella story.
Oh yeah.
Even though we know all the sensible people that are watching and have kept up with all of these programs throughout the whole season will know we'll be able to pick out that turd in a punch bowl quite easily. But
If Marshall makes the
I would
you
just
have
prefer
a
that.
Cinderella team going into it that makes a late run. They go into it 9-3, 8-4, whatever.
My
But they make
preference
a
is
they make a solid late run. They win their conference championship, and suddenly that the country is uniting for this one team to go beat a shitty cheating program like Michigan for example.
I mean, I
You'll
think
have
we'll
a
have
lot
the
of
same.
You
people
just
will
had to
tune
throw
in.
that in there.
Yes,
We
I
would
did.
have the
Let
same.
him. Let him.
It's,
I will never, ever, ever,
Because
ever.
if the team you're repping embodies that same personality, Michigan's just going to run you over. They're just going to run you over because you're not prepared mentally for what they're going to bring.
Well, it took till overtime this year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, with a C+ effort.
I just don't want to see. I don't
I
want to see
mean,
9 win.
You could have gave
teams.
A. I don't know why you didn't, but
I
gave
don't
A to
know
Washington.
why
I
either.
don't think you could say
I wasn't
that,
strapping it up.
that
I'm just
was a C+
stating the facts.
effort
Michigan
from
played
either
the worst
Michigan or
game they had
Alabama.
all year.
That was a
It's
rock
Michigan's
fight.
fault. It's not mine. What the fuck?
And still, it was enough to beat Bama.
If Marshall
No
was to make the CFP, they would get all the ratings in 5 states right off the top. Then they got a sympathetic national following, right, that has always seen them as the underdog. And because of the different disasters that's happened at Marshall and the movie, they're going to watch it. If a team like Marshall, which is rare, somebody like Cincinnati, Marshall, that's in a market where they can get a bunch of people, and it's not that Marshall itself is not in a market that's big, but they're in the middle of a huge market, right? And that's all around them. If they make it to the CFP, it'll be huge for the CFP, right?
Yeah.
It'll show.
Or even if they just make it past the first rounds, that's going to be again that your Cinderella story. We've seen it year in and year out in the NCAA tournament. There's always that one team that, the number 12 seed that goes, to the Sweet 16.
Man, the only thing that I ask is that the number 12 team is a top 12 team.
I mean, Doug, we're at the NIL and transfer portal. The game has already been cheapened. The Pandora's box is wide open. There's no sense in trying to close it now or trying to discuss.
So what you're saying is we're going to have a team sitting in the top in the consent. We're going to have a team sitting in consensus top 12.
You're not know how good they are until the playoff because their schedule won't be comparable.
You know what that sounds like? Nancy Pelosi say, we've got to pass this law on healthcare reform. So
you just called Doug Nancy Pelosi?
We know how well that worked out.
So it's retarded. So what you're saying is we could have a team sitting at number 12. No, we could have a team sitting at number 12, but instead we're going to have number 25, Miami of Ohio, coming in because they're the highest rated of the group of 5 teams. That's fucking.
And then
retarded.
they get in and they actually they actually get in. They play their ass off and they actually win that first round game. And suddenly it's a big fucking deal and everybody's tuning in and everybody's.
Yeah, but this ain't a lottery. This is a playoff.
Yeah.
Now it's a lottery now, Doug. There's 12.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, I think it's.
I got a question for Dr. Balls.
We knew this was going to happen. There's going to now, it's just like with 4 teams. There's going to be a team maybe that shouldn't have got in. Maybe there'll be a team that got left out. Whatever the case may be, it's all in this new age of inclusiveness that we have now. And so, I mean, you got to bring the retarded to the playground too.
Where's the inclusiveness when it comes to the team that's sitting at number 12 that don't get in because number 25 Miami of Ohio?
You're talking about FSU this year. Doug. Fuck them. They should have played harder. They should have got in
next year. Prepare for that.
Yeah.
People gonna get left. People gonna get put in that don't need to be there. People gonna get left out that should have been there. It's gonna, even if you expand it to 100 teams, man, that's gonna happen.
That's what we have.
People that run college football, they don't care about participation trophies in San Francisco. Okay, this is all about money.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
who
why
had a question for
let the group of 5 team in is to show is to artificially show, even though we know it's about money, it'll show that it's about football. If you cut them out in favor of number 12 Texas A&M that's 9-3, when you got 11-1 Marshall, 12-0 Liberty, 12-0 Cincinnati, then it will absolutely show that college football is no longer legitimate. That's
it won't be 12-0 Cincinnati next year.
Well, I'm just giving it as an example.
Well, they got dogs this year in the Big 12. Welcome to
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with several of the group of 5 teams getting in that's got great records that are top 12. But when you start pulling them in your best bet is a 9-4 team or something like that. No, that's stupid.
No, I'd agree with that. But if they made a deal to let the highest ranked group of 5 team in and they didn't do it, then that would take away the legitimacy of it. It would have all the legitimacy of the WWF.
I mean, I think that they should have a minimum ranking. They have to be in the top 12. What's wrong with that?
No, they made a deal, man. That's the deal that's made, right? And if they don't follow through with it, then that'll mean that nothing they say can be.
Well, I think Doug is arguing from what should be done, not what is going to be done.
Well, I definitely know it's not going to be done. It's just.
I agree with them putting a group of 5 team in so that it gives those schools a chance, right? So that gives hope.
Well, okay, but they have a chance. All they have to be is one of the 6 at-larges. They shouldn't get an auto bid because they won a conference.
I agree.
I would say I don't think they're going to pick whoever won their conference because there's too many conferences in the group of 5. They're going to pick the best team that won out of the group of 5. And
I think the ACC is a group of 5 school now, right? Or it's group of 5 conference now, right?
I think we've seen
it now as well.
I think we've seen in the Oregon Liberty game that Liberty had no place even in a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
But then again, this was Liberty. That was
the voters had it right. The voters said they weren't top 12, and by golly, they were.
Oregon was way better.
They had and look, Liberty had the very easiest schedule in all of college football. Their strength of schedule was like dead last or dead first, depending on how you want to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration, by the way.
No, that's true. That's a true thing. Well, at the end of the regular season, they finished dead last in strength of schedule in the NCAA.
Let's be honest, though. How often do we have a group of, we have a season where we don't have a group of 5 that goes 11-1 or 12-0? It happens every year.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a 9-4 or, even a 10-3 group of 5.
I agree.
I just don't see that.
I could argue that the Sun Belt and Conference USA are at least equal to the ACC.
You can definitely make that argument very strongly now. And you know what kind of warms my heart is now that Rich Rod's over at Jacksonville State and they're 1A school now. He has a chance now that we've talked about this. He can lead his group of 5 school into the playoffs. I love that. Rich Rod will be in the playoffs next year.
Hell yeah!
How exciting is that?
But I did have a question for Dr. Balls.
What's up?
So, the Bronco Nagurski winner, which is the Defensive Player of the Year, came back to college football this year, or for this year. Do you think NIL had anything to do with the decision for him to come back?
Yeah, I do, because if he thought that he wouldn't make as much money on his rookie contract, or even if he had any doubts that he was going to be developed, he could stay in college football, get that money, develop another year, spend another year in the weight room, and then go to the pros and get that first-round pick he really wants.
Well, not only that, the NIL money allows players, if they feel the need, to pay out of pocket for their catastrophic injury policy.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? That's the only real worry is that you're going to get hurt and you're not going to make it to the NIL. So like Ed says, that gives you a safety net, right? And some money. Now, it's also where you're at in life and who you are, right? If I was real pissed off that I didn't win it and I knew I was close, right, I'd want to be there. Now, for me personally, right, if I didn't have no money whatsoever, I know the university's going to feed me, right? But if I come from nothing, I'm going to take that money, right? And I haven't been poor in my life. If you'd have told me when I was balling in school, if you'd have told me that you give me $1 million to play college basketball, I'd be like, well, fuck yeah, I'll do that. If they gave me $10,000, it would have changed my life, right? But if I knew I was headed to the NBA, right, and then if I blew my ankle out or my knee out, I'd never get that money, then I'd have to leave right then.
Well, Notre Dame went 10-3 this year.
Oh yeah, I'll bet you. What's that?
But Xavier Watts is a fucking monster, man.
I think he's a principled guy, man. I think that's one of the reasons he's at Notre Dame. He probably could have played at other schools that would have gave him more NIL money, right? I'm sure he could have actually. And he's at Notre Dame. He might have a mission. He might be on a mission. He might have something to prove. He might want to hang a banner, and I love that. And if a guy feels that way, then he's going to win, right? And for these guys in the NIL, I think it's going to affect the college football playoff from this standpoint. How many of these guys are willing to give it all to win? I mean, look how many opt-outs we have.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Well, I mean,
opt out from Michigan.
As a Notre Dame fan, I'm excited that he's coming back.
Me too.
But I had to question whether NIL had something to do with that. I mean, even at Notre Dame, the players on the active roster, some of those players are making fucking buco dollars at Notre Dame.
Oh, he'll be selling all the golden flake potato chips you ever saw.
So what?
He'll be selling all the golden flake potato chips that you ever dreamed of, right? You know, he'll be big in Michigan. See, here's the advantage to Notre Dame and NIL that people don't talk about. Notre Dame's right on the border of Michigan, right? And it's in Indiana, and it's not far from Chicago, and it's not far from Toledo. Well, those are huge markets, and and just the local market of NIL can make you a ton of money. You know, you're going to make more money at Notre Dame at NIL than you are at Kentucky or Missouri, right? And you can always point that out. You can say, hey, you're at Notre Dame. This is one of the blue blood programs of all time. It's debatable whether or not they're the greatest program of all time. You say, you come here, we've got the national exposure. Right now we have our own TV. I think you can do well, represent yourself to make money, right? And here at Notre Dame, this is the market that's around us, but it's really a national market for Notre Dame, right? Everybody that feels Irish, everybody that feels Catholic, and everybody that's sympathetic to win and is looking at Notre Dame, that's why they've got their own contract. They're not just a regional thing. So the NIL money could actually be bigger at Notre Dame than anywhere if it was administrated properly.
I agree. Well, guys, does anybody have any parting shots before I hang up?
Good show.
I still think Marcus Freeman can make history next year.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see it.
Me too. I mean, I'm pulling for Alabama first, but I'd love to see Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a staple of my childhood, Notre Dame football. So I'd like to see him do good.
Me too.
All right, and Michigan, not so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely congratulations on the championship.
Yeah, your cheating paid off.
They were deserved on the field, though. I got to say, on the field, they were deserved.
On the field, they did it.
Yeah, and they had a great defense, and I think that
I've got a parting shot.
Okay.
Not to cut you off. Go ahead, Doctor.
No, I just want to say they had a great defense, and I think that people are going to recognize that nationally that Michigan's defense this championship year was one of the greatest of the last 10 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it goes farther back than 10 years. This, I mean, you start comparing, looking at the numbers, it's ridiculous. But my parting shot, I lost my train of thought. All this talk about it's just unfortunate because Michigan was so dominant, and I lost my parting shot. But all the talk about sign stealing, that it's just a shame because Michigan was clearly.
It was a shame that Michigan stole them signs and got caught doing it. Go ahead.
Okay, here's my parting shot. Thank you. We have no idea. Be careful what the media leads you to believe, because they want you to believe something.
Hashtag fake news. Is that what you're telling me?
Just
they CGI'd Connor on the sideline of where was that? Where was that at? What sideline was he on? It was some horseshit podunk. Like, which one?
Central.
Yeah, Central Michigan. Why?
Because I'm going to it but
Ohio State, Indiana, maybe Central Michigan.
But
that was a bad look. That was the worst look out of all of this. So y'all were stealing signs to get an edge on Central Michigan. What the fuck?
He wasn't doing it for Michigan's sake. He was doing it for other colleges too. So, but whatever. But anyway,
hey, wait, hold up. Do you mean that he was still stealing signs and then selling the information?
I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, there would be no other
Connor was
reason.
doing this on his own, of his own volition, and he was doing this as a free agent for.
And Michigan was a client.
Too. Yeah.
So anyway, be careful what the media leads you to believe. And two, you have no, and this has always been true in college football. We have 130 some teams, give or take, depending on the year.
And only Michigan was the one that got caught cheating this year. It's weird.
And you tell how does the NCAA police all those schools equally all the time? They don't.
So you're saying that Michigan's getting picked on here.
100% dependent upon leads that are given to them.
Who snitched on Michigan then? Because apparently it was widespread knowledge throughout the Big Ten that Michigan had been doing this. Now, I don't think anybody knew exactly how they were doing it. You know, of course, we have the TCU story that we've talked about quite a few times on this show.
But the NCAA picks on the ones that they want to pick on. The idea that they're
so Michigan's getting picked on now.
Everybody we've got
some good shit. This has been my favorite part of this segment.
Everybody else is not, but it's Michigan's.
It was Ryan Day. Because he found
tell me you don't believe that. The way it's being presented, it tells me people. That's
Ryan Day is the Philip Fulmer of the North. I love it.
Yep.
This is some good shit. This is the very. We should have skipped all the way ahead to this part of the segment. And you know, Doug, we need to do like a weekly, like every week, give the Michigan fans at least 10 minutes or so to explain their side of what's going on there until this thing's resolved by the NCAA or Harbaugh gets a job in the NFL, which looks like may happen sooner.
It ain't gonna be as soon as you want it to be, Shannon. The NCAA
wheels of justice.
They work as fast as the government does.
Yeah,
red tape and whatnot.
All right, guys. So we can all go to bed now, and we can sleep good, knowing that we produced a great segment for the American public.
Yes, and that the Michigan fans got to shoot their shot one last time and explain how that was.
Well, we're not going anywhere. So buckle up.
National champions, the national champion Wolverines.
Go blue.
Do your clapping, Shannon.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Good night, guys.
My audience is asleep now.
All right, Dr. Balls.
We'll see you guys.
Later, guys.
Thank you for supporting Smacking Off the podcast on the X's and O's network. Be sure to keep up with our scheduled live casts and other presentations on Facebook at Smackologists or at Smacking Off, and on our YouTube channel at Smacking Off the Podcast.